Yes, I am Art Walker. This is my channel. And if you're not familiar with my work, I do a lot of anatomy stuff like so. This is going to go under here actually because my desk is absolutely horrendous underneath. So I do a lot of anatomy stuff. That would be the human body. I've got some examples. If you wish to see a few examples, I can show you those later on. And what we will be doing is going through the basics as to how we can draw a horse. So, as I said, I've got a reference here. So, I'm not doing this totally from memory. So, what I tend to do is I tend to like to know roughly where the spine is. So, if you're new to drawing and you're new to my work, thank you. I can't recognize your symbol, but anyway, we'll keep going. So what I would suggest we all do now is just to warm up by just doing some simple sketches, simple lines, and so on. This is what I do before I draw anything. So let me just grab an example quickly. Ideally, when you do these warm-ups, I can show you, this is what I did yesterday actually. So if I'm drawing the anatomy, I take my anatomy work to this type of level. So we're not going to go so much into the anatomy, but hopefully we can go a little bit into proportion and so on. And we're going to break down the different bones within the horse's hoof and so on and so on. So we're going down that road now. But I just showed you that just to make you aware of where we're going with this, right? Because if you don't see it, you don't know. So why am I drawing circles and stuff like that? So because we are going to. That's the second time someone said that very recently. Someone said that yesterday. That is really quite eerie. That is really quite eerie. So why do I do this? First of all, I like to start just warming up, just getting the pen going, the fine motor skills and so on. So like I said, I've got this image here. So if I was to start this image, I would try to break the horse down, right? So for me, the most important part is I would probably start with the spine here. So I would try to acknowledge where is the spine. I'm going to be sketching I've gone a bit high. Never mind. We will correct it later on. So I would start with the spine, trying to acknowledge where the spine is, right? And then obviously we will try to acknowledge where the actual rib area is, which is roughly around here. So I'm going to sketch everything up very, very lightly initially. And then hopefully when I start to see I've gone way too high on that. That is annoying. I can see it already. I've run out of space. That is really bad. The head. I've run out of space for the head already. I can see it. Hold on. Let me see if I can shift that down. See, this is the thing. When you sketch with purely, I can shift it down. I'm sketching purely with the big pen. It's very unforgiving. You cannot make mistakes. However, we will soldier on. So I'm going to shift that down. I should have actually done that first. So let's take that right down here. But I do actually enjoy making these kind of mistakes because it does sharpen your skills with regards to how you correct things. So we're going roughly like that. So we've got our rough shape for the head. I can straighten the snout a bit and give an idea as to where the ears would belong. And as you can see, it's a very fast process. And I'm gauging, right, so we've got the jawline would be around here. And then we'd roughly have the eye here. So this is what I would start with. This is the chest. Let's drag that down a bit further. And then we will I'm going to add a simple sphere here and here. So this is just giving me an idea as to where I want the front hooves to go and so on. So let's take the body down a bit. I haven't drawn a horse for a long time, and I was literally just looking. I was literally just looking for these horse images that I've got, and I can't seem to find them. I don't know where I've put them. I did a couple of really cool ones many years ago. Right, so that's looking okay. I'm not worrying too much about proportion yet, but I will have to at some point, because I think I've gone way too big on this. I've got a little Shire, not Shire, what's the little pony one? Let me. And then so we got roughly. I wish I'd given myself some more space, but it doesn't matter. Right, so I'm gonna tidy the hooves up later on. I'm just leaving these as placeholders. So there you can see. Right, this is going out. Yeah, the tail is roughly coming down here. So, right, good. So we've got the positions pretty much where we need everything. I'll take a look in the chat in a minute. I just want to show you basically how I would throw this all together like so. And then we have another one roughly in the same position going behind. So let's add that. Like so. This is how I would sketch something up. For example, I would probably sketch, no, not probably, I would always sketch a human being exactly the same way. And that's the sketch. Highland pony, that's right. Yeah, I've got some short legs. But you know, I'm gonna work on that. I think I'll have to. That's right. It's one of those little Highland ponies. It's not a stallion. It's not too bad. It's not too bad. We can correct some of these areas that are not ideal. How you doing, V? You're missing, but you can join. You can join, or you can see them on my YouTube. So don't worry, all is not lost. Yeah, it's more like a Highland pony, this one, but that's okay. We can keep going with that. But as you can see, I've used quite basic, like I would draw a human being, right? I use quite basic shapes to put together this pony. I think his hooves are a lot. Yeah, they're far too short. They're far too short. So let's extend them a little bit. But this is what I do when I'm brainstorming something new, right? So what you're seeing here is me brainstorming how I would draw a pony. So if I look at this, I can say, okay, I have to be aware of certain proportions, because it's not like when I draw a human, for example, I draw a human being and I've got a little database as to what the sizes are. But at the moment, because I haven't drawn horses for a very long time, my proportions are not 100%. And I do acknowledge that. However, I'll keep drawing as much as I can just to get a feel for the shape and the size of my horse, for example. And what I'm going to do is I'm not going to say, for example, abort the mission. I will literally keep going with this and try to add the anatomy. So I'm going to this drawing that I've got in front of me actually shows the anatomy, right? So as I say, I'm not doing this by instinct. I'm actually referring to something. but this is how I sketch, even if it's not going the way I hope. So that's the shoulder blade. Yeah, I'm getting it now. It's starting to come. So that's okay. Yeah, and I should have actually stretched out a bit further. Good. I'm feeling it, getting it. That's the back. We have this sort of, this is where it's going to get a little bit tricky. Right, I'm going to go straight down here. And then, the rib area is really complicated. So I'm just going to dodge that. I'm just going to dodge the rib area for now, because that is an absolute nightmare. And I don't really need to know all of that detail, if I'm honest. That is all right. Yeah, that's good. So I'm going to take a look and see what's going on in the chat. Okay, now I've got this curve here. I need to arc it here and here, because I'm actually thinking of drawing one of my characters on a horse. So, horse day today. Well, yes, I suppose you could call it a tutorial. You could call it a tutorial. Let me just scroll through quickly. I haven't looked at the screen for a while. My apologies. I do zone out every now and again. Thank you very much for the follows. Thank you, Glyn. Folge dir. Fiona, thank you. Danke vielmals. What are you drawing? Oof. Zena, have a wild guess. Highland pony, yeah, nearly, yeah. I'm getting there. I'm gonna recover it. I'm gonna recover it. This is the first horse I've drawn in 100 years. Yeah, it doesn't really matter, because I'm actually going. I wanted to do horses myself, so I think I'm quite happy with this already. Think I'm quite happy. And if you're missing my lives, you can view on YouTube, my YouTube channel. That's where you can view it. Yeah, I am. Abstract stylized. Not really, Lordy. Not really. I don't really know how abstract works. I suppose, I don't know. Maybe I should think about it. Good question. Yeah, I've got this character that I've got. Let me see if I can find it quick. I can't find my horse drawings. I cannot find them. It's unbelievable. There must be somewhere. I don't know where I've put them. Maybe I put another drawing over them. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to use, hold on, I've got this guy here. I drew this guy, this one. So I'm going to draw this kind of character, but it's going to be on an A3, because I was looking at Frank Frazetta the other day, and I'm going to put this guy, this type of character, on a horse. How you doing, Miss? Oh, thank you, Miss Potter. That's what I'm going to do. So I've had a little play with this style of artwork, and I want to put this guy on a horse, but I'm going to have to do it on an A3, or he's going to be a tiny little guy and a big horse. But that is because I watched, I was looking at some examples of images from Frank Frazetta. Thank you, Miss Potter, for saying that. I'm great. Am I a perfectionist? Do you think? No. No, look at the state of this. No, no, I'm not a perfectionist. If I was, I wouldn't be drawing like this. And I'm going to draw this again, actually. I'm going to draw this again, but I'll talk you guys through it as well. But before, I just had to get my head around it. Is this a tutorial? Yes, it could be. It could be a tutorial. It is great. Oh, thank you. Thank you very much. So what I'm going to show you now, right? I'll take you through my process, right? I obviously can't show you the image, right? So take my word for it. It looks roughly like that. So I'm going to grab a different color pen, right? Yeah, I'll grab my super pen here. It's gone through the wars. So what I do is, right, I take my mental process, right? Say, for example, the head, I simply drew as a spherical object. The what would you call it? The snout, the mouth area. What did I call that? I look at it as a rectangle, like so. Right? The neck was a little bit trickier because the neck, even though I did work with a smooth arc, it's the horse has got quite a lot of muscle on this area here. So my arc was slightly off here, but around the shoulder area, from what I'm seeing, it bulges a couple of times, right? So I had an arc like this. So what I had to do is I had to arc it twice to get this line here. See, so if I draw that again, I will be aware of this undulation here. And that represents the back of the head. And the head would be again here. The mouth, when I looked at the mouth, I literally saw this shape. I don't even know how to explain it. I literally just saw this type of shape. That's how I mapped the nose out. And then obviously I just add the nostril here. Do you see what I mean? And then what I do is I just simply do it very angular and then I round it off. You see? And you can see we've got quite an not accurate, but you get my point. Quite a good nose for a horse. We can do that and then obviously add the second lip underneath. We haven't got any tone. I haven't got any tone on it, so bear with me on that one. And then we can basically draw the nose like that. Do you not project? Well, that's how I started it. I started it with this spine line. That was the first thing I did. And I kind of went a bit too far. But it's okay. I still managed to fit it in. I think well, this I can correct. I can correct that now. That goes like so, in and up. Right, so let's keep going anyway. So I did actually draw the spine line first. And that's why I had a little bit too little space here. So now, so the neck, as I said, is it's not a simple arc. You can use a simple arc, but you have to bulge where the muscles are. That's what I did here. So I went simple arc, added these dips in the muscle, and then I went for this type of shape here. Do you see my point? The body is quite massive, so I went simply like an oval. And then I continue it. I should have continued it down to here. So you can see how I'm connecting all of the different elements. So here the shoulder is quite tricky because it's quite big. It's a mass of muscle and bone. So I thought of it as a triangle, but I then added the joints. I should have made the hooves a little bit longer. I'm seeing that now. So I should, when I draw it again, and I'll probably draw it again today, actually, probably even do it in the live, I will definitely lengthen the hooves. You see my point? And then if we can make it, triangle it off like so. So that was proportionally not correct. But that's why we do it. That's why we sketch it. So we can perfect it as we go along. So the skin is attaching to the actual, I suppose you could call that the thigh. Do horses have knees? I don't know. I'm not sure on the horses, and I haven't even got it written down here. But I really don't know. Don't want to say it's the knee or, well, I know that's the thigh, but this was a little bit thick. I made that a bit thick. And here, that's about right. The thigh, I just simply drew an oval. Simply just an oval. And then these joints, I would do them in the same way that I did this joint here, 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 and here. And obviously the tail is almost fire-like. And that's how I break down drawing a horse. Oh, they do have knees. I didn't know what to say there. So where is the knee? So that would be the knee, right? I'm not sure. And the example I've got hasn't got it. It's all written in a different language, so I can't really recognize it. So let me just see what's going on in the chat quickly. Yeah, the spine is all. I usually start with the spine. Ah, Madam Bionic. Oh, long time no see. Wow. Like drawing is like, reminds me of an art teacher saying drawing is like spot the difference. Spot the difference. Yeah, I get that. I get that. They are knees. Okay, good. I'm happy. Good. So that is basically what I did, right? So now, what I find, as you say, spot the difference. If I grab my, where is that green one? So, right. So if I grab my green pen, right? So I don't know if it's going to show actually. Let me just check. Yeah, it's not that good. Is it clear enough? Can you see that? No, it's not clear enough. I don't think it's very clear. Oh, which one? Let me see. I don't even know what that is. A centaur. Okay, we can do that. I don't even know what that is. Let me just check that quickly. Oops, a car came up. Oh, right. Yeah, why not? Ah, yeah, that would be cool. Okay. Yeah, we can do that, mate. Easily. We got that easily, mate. No problem. Oh, yeah, I could do that. With a bow and arrow, yeah. Male or female? I might have something to do today. Because you know I'm drawing the body a lot, so yeah, I think so. I think so. A horse dude. There you go. That's exactly what it is. I can draw a horse dude. So what I'm going to do is, I like to familiarize myself with the different muscles, right? I like to familiarize myself because then it helps me. Oh yeah, you can see that. It helps me when, whoops, gone a bit high. It helps me when I want to add contours to my artwork, right? So I don't have to know every single muscle. It's not important. However, for me, it's important to have a good idea of where the muscles are. So what I'm highlighting here in green are rough gauges as to where the muscles are on my horse. Do you see my point? Because you know when you start to shade an object, so for example like a horse, it's better when you've got accurate shading and not too odd looking where you just got shading in random places and horses don't have muscles there, or so that's what I like, to just have a little idea as to where and how I should shade it, and then I have that peace of mind that it's not going to look too odd. Let's add some detail to the mouth. We'll jut the mouth out a little bit here, add some shading here. You can see it's really starting to, I think it's starting to take shape. I'm quite happy with it. And I'm sure I'm not going to go too heavily into the detail on the nose, but I can see now how that works. And what I will also do, let's add the jawline quickly. So we have this kind of jawline here. And then what I will do is I will add some hatching to show me the direction of the muscle, right? So this is why I'm hatching it in that direction. And then I will hatch this here in this direction. So it gives me an idea as to the direction of the muscle. Like so, we go this way. This way. We've got a few muscles in the nose or the snout here, and so on. That's looking quite cool, actually. You made the leg really good. Good. There you go. And what you can do, what I often do, but I didn't do it today. But what you can do is obviously you can add your cylinders, right? So that's what I would recommend if you're just starting out. You add your cylinders like so, because that gives you a good idea of proportion and so on. So we've got the bone here, and then we've got the knee there, right? I take it the knee is around here. So if I'm wrong, please correct me. Good stuff. Right. So I dodged the the rib area. I did actually dodge it, but I'm going to have to face my demons now. So let's add that elbow. And then we've got two. Now, you know what I'm going to do? The shoulder first. I'm going to do the shoulder. And it curves around like so. Yeah, that's good. So I take it this would be like the elbow here. And then we've got two large muscles here. And then we've got 1, 2, 3. I'm not going to go too mad into that, but that would let me know what direction those muscles are going in. Let me see if anyone's got any. Has anyone got any questions? Horse dude, I don't think we got any questions. Good. Anyone got any questions? Two high knees. Are they? I missed it. It will be. I'll be posting this on YouTube. No, are you saying that the knees are too high? I don't think so. I'm not sure, or maybe So let's add some contours to this curve here. So it's not too smooth, because sometimes I tend to leave things a little bit too smooth and then round off these edges here. The tail, I'm just going to play around there. Good. So now let's think about the thigh. So I'm seeing a cool set of muscles that are connecting to the knee. And then I'm seeing these muscles connect to the rib area here, like so. And we've got the rump here. Let's add some direction lines, like so. And as I said, we've got these 1, 2 quite big muscles here, and one actually goes back there. Lovely, good stuff. Here, let's add. I'm not going to go into much here because it's a lot of strands of muscle here. I'm not going to touch that too much. Not necessary, if I'm honest, for me anyway. I'm going to try and tidy this area up a little bit. Wow, that is a serious selection of muscles there. I'm just going to wing it, I think. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh. Yeah, I'm not even going to go too heavily into that. Not today. Not today. So unfortunately, I made a bit of a mess of it here. But you can see where you can go with that. And I'm sure if I drew this again, I'll be a lot more aware of what I have to look out for and what mistakes not to make. But I think proportionally, it's not too bad. I'm just going to measure it. It's not too bad. I'm comparing it to the image that I've got in front of me. I think this is a little bit short. A little bit. So there you go. Silvana, ja, wir kennen einander. Ja, stimmt. Hast du nicht gewusst? Ich bin ständig online. So, good. Has anyone got any questions about that? Oh, the mane here. Let's keep going here just quickly, because I'm actually thinking I want to draw this again. Or V. What about we draw this? Was it Centaura? Was it? No, Centaur. Maybe we can do that. I think I've got the body part pretty sus. Look at that, baby. Look at that. That's pretty cool, that is. Quite happy with that. Just the hooves, I think I'm going to have to... That's a shame. I butchered that a little bit. Has anyone got any questions? Bist du auch am Zeichnen, Silvana? The knees and legs. Yeah, it was literally a speed sketch, Dominica. I didn't really. I can see there's a few proportional issues, but it was more to just evaluate where everything is. If I'm drawing this again, I would probably take a little bit more time. And I didn't actually, I'm gauging the proportions. I just gauged it. I haven't said, right, this, I just gauged, and so on. And then obviously I've run out of paper. So I think there's a few issues here. This is, so for example, I know when I look at the reference image here is way too short. But for me, that's okay. Here, I would probably say, yeah, that here is also a bit short. But if I don't try, I won't know. So if you do watch if when I do any kind of tutorial, I have to plan it as well. See, maybe I would say here, I would push it out further here. Do you see what I mean? Do you see what I mean? So this would be very important, just as an evaluation exercise. And obviously now here, if I look at the feet, I would have to get a detailed image of what this area actually looks like. That's how I would break it down. So for me, the proportion is very important. However, the process is more important. The process, going through that process, is the most important. The mistakes, that I expect that every time. I expect to make quite a few mistakes, but I can use those mistakes later on to evaluate what I'm drawing. I heard that. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if they're hard to draw. I've just tried to draw this one. It took me around half an hour, give or take. But it's an evaluation sketch. It's not a finished drawing. Mir geht es gut, danke. Beautiful art in pro. Thank you, Tones. This is what I try to encourage everyone when I teach at the school. I try to teach people that don't worry too much about proportion initially, right? Don't worry. Learn to draw the item first. The proportion and stuff you can fine tune that afterwards. At the end of the day, I like to just keep my pen flowing, moving, keep it moving, and then whether it turns out perfect or not, it's not the object of the exercise. It's just to keep going and ignore. As you can see, I drew it all with a biro. I made a big mistake here. I don't care. I just keep going. I won't make that mistake again, because if I draw this again, I will be looking for my red lines. I will be more aware of my proportions. And obviously I'll probably do the horse a lot smaller, the whole body, so I can lengthen the legs here, from here to here. I think I've just squeezed it in to fit it onto the paper. So, ooh, how would I draw a half horse, half fish? Oh Lord. I don't know. I have no idea. Maybe you can join the live and show me. You're out of paper. Oh, I had that happen to me the other day. I ran out of paper. So, did that help anyone? Danke, Silvana. That's a student from my school. She's joining my live, which is pretty cool. Oh, thank you, AGB. That is really nice. Was soll ich machen? Bitte, was? Oh God. I don't know what she wants. So, has anyone got any questions? Wie meinst du bitte? Ich weiß nicht, was du meinst. So, you know what I'm going to do? So this was evaluation 1. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take this image a little bit further and I'm going to highlight my correct lines, right? So when I draw this again, these lines will stand out. There you go. So I will try to acknowledge these lines here for when I draw it again, like so. Right, I have to be aware. Yeah, this. I need to definitely take a look at this joint here because it looks a little bit squared. Not squared, but it's not as round as I did it before. Like so. So I'm going to mimic that twice. As I said, that is important. This detail here is important. I don't really know this detail here. I can guess it, and I don't know this detail here. I can guess that one as well. This area here, I think it's too rounded, but I'm going to edge it off a little bit, like so. This. Okay, this line, I think I've made it far too short. So I'll extend it here. There you go. That's what I would do. Guten Tag, Barin. Yeah, I find that when I draw things in different colors, like now, if I was to draw everything in blue, it would just be a mess, right? But if I did start it in blue, and then I highlight certain mistakes or certain details in red, like here, I've made an adjustment here. So then I'll concentrate more on the red. And then for the fine tuning, like the muscles and hatching and so on, I would concentrate on the green. So then I can differentiate. I find it works for me because then I don't have a mass of lines and I can definitely work out what is what and how it should be done. Where did you learn to master drawing and such? Practice, and don't be scared. If you make mistakes, don't worry about it. Keep going. To the point that I will probably let's just do it now. If I'm looking at my image now, I've drawn it once. Okay, I'm quite happy with it. So let's plan it a bit better, right? So let me say, okay, I want the top of the horse to be here, the head, right? So I'm going to do it again. I'm going to draw it again. I'm going to start again with blue, right? So let's see how we get on. So let's see how we get on. I'm going to go a little bit gentler with regards to how much I press. I've got an idea that the neck is roughly like that. And the body is roughly like that. It's a strange animal to draw. I must admit, it's quite strange. So what did I say? I've got my body. So this is my spine. I've got my body. Now we've got the leg. All right, that's about right. That's about right. Okay, so now we can add the snout or nose, whatever you want to call it. And then we add slight detail here. I'm just going to keep it very basic. Just give myself an idea as to where it is. So the head slightly bulges here, roughly where the eyes are, and the ears are roughly here. So let's bulk this out and bulk that out. So now I need to be careful because I did make a mistake here before. So let's go here. Checking my image as well with the sketching on here. Let's go. I'm going to probably push that out a little bit more. Now let's get this length right. I think the snout needs to be a little bit longer. Break this line up. Right, so this part, I think it needs to go out a little bit more. Like so. Very tricky. This is, oh, I've gone wrong here. I've gone wrong here. Yeah, it should be higher. But this is what I would be doing anyway. I would be testing things out, getting them wrong, and then I'll just keep going. I don't get locked into, oh, I've done it wrong, let me throw it away. So we got the who's a bit better this time. I'm gonna So there you go. Slowly coming. I can feel I'm getting a little bit more used to these odd, I call them odd, but it's very new to me how to draw a horse, because the weight is it's distributed really difficultly. Let me type that in. So that's how I would do it. Can I draw a car? Yes, I can draw a car. I can draw a car. But I'm not drawing a car today. I'm drawing horses. Cars are not that difficult, I don't find. And obviously, if I was drawing this with a pencil, it would be a lot easier. But I do this on purpose. I draw with the Bic on purpose, so I don't have that safety net. That's exactly why I do it. There you go. That's how I would do it. So we can see sketch one. Sketch one was like that. And sketch two is like that. I don't know how long it took me. I don't know how long that actually took me. There's a line missing with the front feet. Yeah, probably. There's probably quite a few things wrong with it, if I'm honest. Oh, okay. Am I allowed to do that? I'm not sure if I can. Am I allowed to do that? How do I get good at drawing? You simply practice. Hold on, I've just got like 10 minutes, right? So thank you for that, props. Yeah, it took me 10 minutes. So it looks like you enjoy it. Yeah, I do enjoy it. I do enjoy it. And at the end of the day, this part of the process for me, this is just my opinion, it doesn't have to be perfect. If I want to draw something perfectly, I will probably not use this. Or I guarantee you, give me a couple more months. Give me a month or two drawing this, and I will be able to draw it. I'll even make a bet with you. If I start drawing horses now, I will be able to draw that kind of horse. And that's going to be my challenge, actually. I'm actually going to challenge myself. I'm going to draw a horse like this, but to this level. And I won't be using a rubber. I will be doing it all with the big pen. All. So that's my challenge to myself. So I'm going to actually, let me date this. I'm going to date it 23rd 09 25. So that's going to be my challenge, because I can draw legs like this now, and I'm certain I will be able to draw a horse like that we'll see how long. Not sure yet. So that's my challenge. That's my challenge. And obviously when I drew this leg the other day, this took me an hour and a half to draw this leg. So obviously a horse like this would take a lot more. This was literally 10 minutes work. So quite happy with that. Good. Hold on, let's see what's going on. Good morning, Kay. Thank you, Bomi. Thank you very much. So there you go. Does anyone have any questions? I can wait for a little bit. I'm going to get ready for lunch. Or no, I've got to ring someone actually. So I think I will slowly wind this one down. It was pretty cool. Quite liked this actually. It was a good one. It was a good test. I like to test myself. And it's definitely getting better. I'm getting an eye for it. Thank you for the kind gifts. Good morning, Flom. Has anyone got any questions? No, I'm not that good. It started like this, you see? So take encouragement from what I've done wrong here. Too short. This is wrong. Detail. There's a lot that I've got wrong here. There's probably quite a lot that I've got wrong on here as well. But that is all part of the journey. from what I see, the back legs, if you want to, I will look at this again myself. You can actually start the back legs like that. And here I would add the joint like that. And then we've got the knee here. So they are quite tricky. So this is that part here. And then it comes down like, oops, excuse me, wrong direction. Hold on. No, that's not right. It comes, I've got to do that again. I've got to do it again. It comes down again like that. That's it. And then it goes like that. These angles are quite tricky, but I think once you start practicing it, it will fall into place. And then we have this type of shape here, and then here. You see my point? And what I was looking at here is where you have to look at where the weight is, the weight of the whole horse. And that's where the weight would be distributed on this leg here, on this hoof. And then the body goes up that way. So it's literally one. I'm going to do it again because I like to practice these things myself. 2, 3, and 4. That's how I'm breaking it down. Did that help you, Ghoul? You admire? You don't have to admire me. No, just practice. Just practice. And like what I will do is I'll probably find a few images of horses' hooves at the front because I don't actually really know what they look like. So I'll have to sit down and break it down like that, familiarize myself with it. And you see, because I don't really know what goes on here, that's a question for me. I'll have to, this area here is not very clear to me. So I will definitely take a look at that. But that just gives you an insight as to what I do, right? So it doesn't always just fall from the sky. No, it never does, actually. It never does. You might have to graft it a little bit, but that's okay. That's part of the journey, right? So, yeah, this is far too small, but that's okay. We will get there. I will post this, actually. I'll post all of these images. So if you want to have a look at those, you can watch those on my YouTube. Do you have I do have a reference for this, yes. Yeah, because I don't really understand the horse's anatomy at the moment, so I have to have a reference. But with practice, I'm sure I can use it less. Yeah, I actually chose this horse because of the format for TikTok. Because usually, you could have a horse here, but it would be quite small. So I thought, let me just draw on this kind of jumping up, get that playfulness. Let me just add something here because that should be in the shade. It looks like it's in the front. It should be in the shade. And that. Good. Happy with that. Melina, wie geht es dir? All my students. You should be. They're all, a lot of students from my school are here. Can you believe that? That is crazy. Aber jetzt bist du ein bisschen spät. Wir haben ein Pferd gezeichnet heute. Aber ich werde alles auf YouTube kopieren. Du kannst es dort anschauen. Good. We are now finished. Unless there are any more questions, I will be pursuing my horse drawing a little further. I'll probably even work a little bit more on this. No, I'm actually going to start a new one. And I might even draw one in pencil. I might do the same one in pencil just to show you what can be done when you have the opportunity to rub things out. Because if you don't have the opportunity to rub things out, it can be a little bit daunting. Okay, cool. Okay. I wish you all a lovely morning. I am now finished. I hope you enjoyed that live stream on how to draw horses. I hope it helped you. As you can see, I don't get it perfect every time. And I will be posting this because it is part of our journey to grow. Please embrace the fact that you will make mistakes. It's very, very important. And even if you make a mistake, it's not a mistake, it's part of your growth. See that as part of your growth with regards to your artistic journey. And don't worry if people say, oh, that's not true. You haven't done that right. You haven't done that right. That's all right. Keep going forward. Good, good, good. Okay. Thank you. You're welcome. And I will see you all very soon. Not sure when. I'm not sure what I will be doing, but we will see each other again very soon. Thanks again. Cheers, V. Take care. Bye-bye. Cheers, Goo. Bye-bye. Peaches. Cheers.